Hello students, welcome to my channel, that is Tech Teacher Shruti. Okay, in this video we are going to discuss about event sources and event listeners. In last video we have discussed what is an event, how event is handling, and which model we will use for the event handling, that is delegation event model. Okay, next we will see event sources. What are event sources? An event source is an object that generates an event, and a source might generate more than one event. Okay, a event source is an object that generates an event. It might generate more than one event. Examples for event sources are button, checkbox, radio button, text box, etc. Okay, these are the event sources. And for example, event source is a button. Clicking on the button generates an event. Okay, and a source must be registered with the listener in order to detect the events. Already this we have seen in a delegation event model. Okay, to detect an event, a source must be registered with the corresponding event listener. To make the applet or a application listen to particular event, we need to register. Means event source must be registered with the event listener, right? For that we will use a method, that is public void add type listener. Okay, here type is the name of the event. For example, we are registering for a keyboard event. Okay, it will add, or the event source will register a keyboard event listener by using add key listener method. Okay, here event source is the key on a keyboard. Clicking a button will generate an key event, and this key on a keyboard, it means event source should register with the event listener, that is add key listener or a key listener. Okay, this event source should register with the event listener, that is keyboard event listener, by using a add key listener. However, if we registered this to listen a event, okay, or to listen for the event, we can unregister this by using a public void remove type listener. As I told, a method that removes a keyboard event listener we can call as a remove key listener. Okay, for a keyboard event listener we can use a remove key listener. Next is event listeners. What exactly a listener is? It is an object with a method which contains the code we want to run when event happens. Okay, for example, button is a event source. After clicking on a button, an event is generated, and this event should be listened by the event listener. When it will listen, when event source is registered with the event listener. Okay, and after clicking on a button, some action should happen, right? That action part, okay, that action part, that code we are going to learn with a method which is present with the listener. Okay, then what is a listener? It is an object with a method which contains the code when we want to run listener is an object with a method which contains the code we want to run when an event happens. Okay, after clicking on a button, for example, I am logging into my Gmail account. Okay, after clicking on login button, it should log into my Gmail account, right? Okay, logging into or displaying my Gmail login page. That action part, that part of code we will write in a method with the listener. Okay, this listener contains one method. In that method, this action part, that part of code we will write. Okay, we can call this as a event listener, and this listener must be registered with the source to receive a notifications. Like a event is generated and corresponding action part you have to execute, and it must implement a method to receive and process these notifications. Okay, what are the methods that we will learn in the next part? Okay, for example, for keyboard event, a particular method we should implement. Okay, what are those methods we will learn further. Okay, it must implement some methods to receive and process these notifications, which means listener will implement an event listener interfaces to process the action. For example, here the method action performed is automatically called whenever user clicks the button. Thus, implement action performed to respond to the button event. This is how event listener and event sources are going to work by using a delegation event model. Okay, here we are using one word, that is implementing. What exactly the implementing means? We are using the interfaces. Okay, with the interfaces we will use a keyword implements. Okay, in Java, events and sources are maintained as a classes. Okay, if you want to inherit the properties of a classes, we will use a extends keyword. Okay, if you want to use a interfaces, we will use a implements keyword, and here event listeners are the implemented as or a maintained as a interfaces, and most of this event listener interfaces and event classes or event source classes are available in a java.awt.event package. Okay, thank you.